Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
Greetings. Welcome to the bonus show. Someone sent me this story, and I was reading the headline that said, "Town bans swearing, spitting, and yelling." And I was thinking to myself, oh, well, yeah, I mean, I know about this. That's in Singapore. They ban everything. No, it is not in Singapore. It is in Taber in Alberta. And not something I would expect to see happen in Canada. But if anyone is familiar with this town or with Alberta, small town politics like this in general, please tell us about it. Your first swearing offense would cost you $150. The second one could set you back $250. That also goes for yelling or screaming in public.
What's determined to be a scream? Is it based on decibels or is it based on tone?
I don't have that exact information. The wording of the law could be vague. I'm not really sure, but I guess that's up to the police.
And as far as spitting, if you choke and kind of spit out your food, would that be exempt?
You would probably be exempt in that case.
Okay.
But there's a $75 fine for spitting in public. But this goes deeper. There is also a curfew for kids and teenagers from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. And that's an interesting one. But there is one that is really disturbing. There is another part of this law that grants power to officers to break up assemblies of 3 or more people. Yes. Very, very, very disturbing one there. And many are saying that this is unconstitutional. And I'm not sure why this small town felt the need to, do we think this is just a very religious place?
I don't know about that. I know that in the province, there are a number of municipalities that ban spitting. And that one is actually super interesting to me. I have never understood. Growing up, I always wondered, why is it that some people seem to need to spit, but only when they're outside? Like whenever you're inside a house, all of a sudden the need to spit goes away. And it's this bizarre habit, which I think is obviously not, it's something that people have chosen to make part of their repertoire. You know what I'm talking about, Lewis? It's typically men. I haven't ever actually seen women other than in one of the Naked Gun movies, which kind of goofs on it with the baseball players' wives spitting as they watch games. It's always men who they just need to spit, but I have never seen them inside their house spit on the floor.
I've seen lots of people spit inside. And first of all, I spit when I'm exercising because there's like a buildup. When I'm running outside, there's like a buildup of mucus or whatever. And so I spit, but that's the only situation.
I'm talking about you're walking down the sidewalk and someone clearly is not exercising and all of a sudden they spit on the sidewalk.
I noticed that this happens a lot with smokers. I see a lot of smokers spitting. Of course, if you're doing dip or chew, you might be spitting. But I guess there are some people who aren't doing that, who spit as well. And yeah, I don't get it either. But yeah, if you, I don't see the need to ban it at the same time either. I don't think it's really, it's really harmful to the environment or anything like that. Although it's kind of an odd thing. So anyway, this is the type of thing you'd expect to see somewhere in an ultra-religious area of Mississippi or something like that. And it's coming to us from the very progressive country of Canada. So I'm not sure what's going on in Canada, in Alberta. But there are some parts of this law that are very strange. So tell us if you know anything about this area. David, did you look into this news anchor penis jacket thing?
I did indeed.
Okay, this is really, really funny. And I'm not really sure how this whole thing started. But it became very clear that multiple news anchors and TV personalities were wearing this top where the neck outline kind of made something that looked phallic, and it looked like a twig and berries, if you will. And this is kind of blown up, and it's all over the internet now. Um, I can understand someone not realizing when they buy it, that it looks like that. But my first question was, are the people who are designing this clothing trying to pull a prank? Is this a gag on their behalf, or did they simply not see this either?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell from if you look this up. If you look up Natasha Belling is the name of the anchor who was wearing this. I'm sure you can easily find it. I can't tell if part of the reason it looks more like a penis is because she's wearing a tank top below the jacket or not. It's not totally clear to me. So if it is, when you're developing the jacket, you might not necessarily test it in that scenario, you know?
That is true. And I don't think she was the only one. There are multiple people, it looks like, who have been caught wearing something very similar with this neck outline that looks like, twig and berries. And you gotta look this up. There is an ABC late line newsreader, Leigh Sales, and I guess she's sporting something that it looks like is even worse than the other ones. But this is crazy. I mean, obviously, after this has gone completely viral, people are going to be looking out for this now, and we probably won't be seeing this anymore. But
I have to admit, when I saw it, I really thought it's kind of funny, but people are reading way too much into it.
I don't think that any of the anchors would have ever worn this if they realized that it looked like that. But I still don't know if they were designed that way intentionally. So there it is. It's happening. The penis jackets. You got to look this up. It's pretty funny, pretty damn funny. Have you ever seen those ties that look like that?
No.
Yeah, there are ties that basically achieve the same thing, and of course, you really only want to wear that as a gag as well. But there it is, the penis jackets. Pretty funny stuff. Here is something coming to us from the UK that I know a lot of the people in our audience, especially if we talked about this on the regular show, they would have something to say about this. Piercings, vaginal piercings, are going to be essentially classified as female genital mutilation in the UK. And so women with these piercings are going to be, according to the law, women who have suffered from female genital mutilation. So there's a lot that's going to happen here. There are going to be mandatory reporting regulations for, health workers, that type of thing. Any woman whose labia or clitoris has been pierced must be classified under these rules. And this, of course, I mean, you would assume that the majority of these women consented to this. They probably wanted it, but this applies to them as well. And does this make sense? I mean, I understand that how they're trying to classify things here, but if you do this to yourself, should this be classified that way?
My initial reaction was no, it shouldn't. If you're choosing to go and get a piercing, then this is something that you've decided to do. The devil's advocate counter argument would be some of the women having the female genital mutilation done in African countries, for example, also on the record are saying that this is something they want because they've been manipulated and coerced into saying that it's something they want or believing that it's something that they need to have. But this is so, we have to be able to separate one from the other. And this just strikes me as completely bonkers.
And so there's a crime element here as well. And so those responsible for carrying out the piercings, they could be considered guilty because, of course, there is a law banning female genital mutilation. And potentially even the women who decide to get this themselves, they could be found guilty as well.
There's another weird element, which is that the articles are talking about vagina piercings, but that's not really accurate, right? You're either, I believe, piercing the labia or the clitoris, but even calling it a vagina piercing, that's part of maybe why that's another element of why this is just kind of odd.
It is. I guess this when people talk about designer vaginas or custom vaginas, that's the term they use, although not perhaps anatomically correct. It's just that's the language, but whatever. So this is a really interesting one. Do you agree with this? Should women be essentially banned from getting these piercings, regardless of coercion or the custom vagina trend or movement? Does this make sense?
My reaction is it doesn't, but I don't know if you were asking me or the audience.
Right, because do you consider this female genital mutilation?
I don't. No, I mean you're modifying the genitals of a woman, but that's where the similarity seems to stop for me.
And this is something that can be undone, right? I mean,
you can remove the piercing, but we'd have to have a medical expert tell us whether the impact of the piercing completely goes away after a period of time. I don't know that. Yeah,
I mean, with the piercing, it depends on where the piercing is too, and so I think I would not call this female genital mutilation.
I'm curious what the audience thinks about this.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what's going on over there. Interesting stuff. I know we have listeners over there, and so if people are outraged about this, or if it's not even being discussed, let us know.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.